Ever tried managing smart homes across multiple properties? You log into one Home Assistant, then switch to another, then another. Here's the fix. In this video, we're building a unified management system with OpenClaw Node over Tailscale. Control all your smart home devices across multiple Home Assistant instances from one gateway, no matter where your properties are located. All right, I'm gonna walk you through every step, and don't worry, I'll explain what's happening at each stage. First, we need to establish secure communication between your gateway OpenClaw and node OpenClaw instances. That's where Tailscale comes in. Head over to the Tailscale admin console, go to Settings, Keys, Generate Auth Key. Give it a description like Test, and here's the important part. Check the reusable box if you plan to deploy this on multiple devices down the road. Copy the generated key, you'll need it for deployment in a minute. Now, here's something you might not know. By default, that auth key expires in 90 days. Not ideal for a permanent setup. To fix this, go to the Machines page, find your device in the list, click the three dots menu and select Disable Key Expiry. Now it's permanent. One more thing, go to DNS settings and enable HTTP certificates. We'll need this for the OpenClaw gateway configuration later. Next, let's configure the OpenClaw gateway to work over Tailscale. Open your openclaw.json file. We need to modify three things in the gateway block. First, change the auth mode to password and set a custom password. Tailscale funnel mode supports password authentication. Token auth won't work here. Second, add a new Tailscale section with mode set to funnel. This is what exposes your gateway over the Tailscale network for public internet access. Third, lower the Control UI access permissions. Since this is a local network setup, you don't need the highest security level. Save the file. But here's the critical part. When you restart OpenClaw Gateway, you must include the Tailscale and auth flags. Without these, Tailscale networking won't work. I'll put the exact command in the description. Moving on, install the Tailscale service on your OpenClaw machine. You can use the Docker command like this. Since my OpenClaw is running in Docker, I'm using the same network mode for both containers. This ensures they can communicate directly. Set a custom hostname, paste the auth key you generated earlier, and start the container. Once it's running, go back to the Tailscale admin console. You should see your device showing as connected. If it is, you're good to proceed. At this point, let's set up the access proxy inside the Tailscale Docker container. But first, test that the Tailscale container can actually reach your OpenClaw web UI. I installed curl inside the container and tested with a simple curl command to the OpenClaw address. Once that works, run the proxy configuration command. This sets up reverse proxy access to OpenClaw through Tailscale. You can also check the funnel status with the status command, just to verify everything is exposed correctly. From here, you can access your OpenClaw gateway from anywhere using the Tailscale assigned URL. Enter your password, click Connect, and you're in. Here's the critical part, connecting your gateway OpenClaw to node OpenClaw instances. To avoid manual approval every time the gateway controls a node, run these two commands inside the node OpenClaw container. This removes the manual approval requirement. Now, modify the gateway OpenClaw configuration. Set the access password, Tailscale domain, and HTTPS port. Then initiate the first connection from the node to the gateway. Here's what will happen. The first connection will fail with pairing required. That's normal. The gateway requires approval for new node connections. Go back to the gateway OpenClaw. Run devices list to find the pending node. Then run approve with the request ID. Check node status. You'll see paired but still disconnected. Go back to the node OpenClaw. Initiate the connection again, wait a moment, then check node status again. Now it should show connected. Your gateway and node can now communicate over Tailscale. At this stage, let's add a Home Assistant MCP server to the node OpenClaw. So I sent OpenClaw the following prompt: Follow the format requirements below to add the Home Assistant MCP server using the MC Porter tool. Once it's done, I had Openclaw turn off a Tuya smart plug through the MCP server. It worked, but it took about 3 minutes, probably because Openclaw had to search for all entities without a specific entity ID, though it was still a bit slower than expected. Let's test it. Can the Gateway Openclaw control devices through the Node Openclaw? Open the Gateway Openclaw web UI. Enter this prompt. On Node VM Openclaw, the Home Assistant MCP tool has already been configured. You are now required to remotely control VM Openclaw to turn on the Tuya smart plug. This time, it took about 6 minutes, longer than ideal, but remember, this is a basic test setup. There's significant room for optimization. The important thing, it works. Your Gateway Openclaw can now control smart home devices across multiple locations through Node Openclaw instances. By the way, I've bundled the complete configuration guide, link in the description. If you're managing multiple properties with Home Assistant, this changes everything. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.